Welcome back to the Hidden Haven Homestead. Today's video is going to be all about making tomato sauce.
All of these red tomatoes that you see right now were actually picked green. We took them out of the greenhouse before the first freeze about 3 weeks ago, the hard freeze that was about 18 degrees at night for about 5 nights in a row. So we took all the green ones off, put them in the basement near the window, and they have just red and dried up. Getting ready to make some of our tomato sauce. We've seen a few videos on making tomato sauce, and we're going to show you how we do this. Seems to be pretty quick and simple. We don't boil anything down. We do boil the tomatoes just to soften up the skin on them, but we don't cut them. We don't smash them. We don't do anything. We've got this fancy Victorio 250 food strainer that we've been using for about 6 years now. We make all of our jellies with it. We make our apple butter and we make our tomato sauce, and it is a true time saver. We're gonna get the tomatoes put into a boil bath for about
2 to 5 minutes.
2 to 5 minutes, which will soften up the skins on those. And then Joe's gonna assemble this. When we assemble it, the first time through, he's gonna use the short processor here with the tomato strainer on it. And then all of the pulp and stuff will go into this bowl. He'll then take that bowl and redo it with the long strainer and the tomato strain. So
that'll get all the pulp out with that long strainer.
So then we get all the good stuff. We're gonna have it go through the strainer into this bowl here, but he's gonna put some cheesecloth on that and hold it on with some wire ties, twist ties, zip ties. And as he's doing that, we'll show you what that looks like.
So on the sauce, we're gonna use cheesecloth. We're just gonna take this, unfold it, and we're going to unfold it about twice the width of what we're putting the sauce into. It's got 4 layers here. We're just going to unfold it. So we have 2 layers. I'm going to put it over the pot like that. This pot is just about perfect, the width to go right across it, and then we're just going to lay it back over it. So we're still going to have 4 layers. Make sure you got the cheesecloth under the zip tie all the way around so you don't have a slip. And this is just big enough with this pot. Try to flatten it out as much as we can so we don't have a rumple in it. Around it now. Go ahead and tighten it down. There you go. We'll just put that right under there, and when the sauce starts coming, the juice is going to drain right to the bottom and the sauce is going to stay on top, and we'll just ladle it off as we do.
Joe's ladling out the tomatoes. You can see these are done, and now he's getting ready to take them out of this pot. It's just enough to get the skin loosened up.
And it softens the meat in there so that they're easier to grind. We'll go ahead and get another batch started before we start grinding. So we'll get these out of here.
He boiled those for about 5 minutes. Not a hard boil.
All right, so we've got the tomatoes all softened up. I'm gonna go ahead and just ladle some in here. Show you how the grinder works. We're not gonna bore you with a bunch of grinding, but we'll get all this in here and show you. It's this Victorio 2 has served us probably one of our best purchases ever. We've gotten the mileage out of it, unlike about anything you can dream of. I'm not sure how many quarts of tomato sauce we've made, but we've made a ton of apple butter, and our jellies, we make several hundred jars of jelly every year, and it all goes through this Victoria. You just use the plunger and just grind away. They just go right through, and you'll see the sauce starts to make. All that juice is going to go right down in the pot, and we'll go ahead and we'll can some of that sauce, tomato juice also.
You can see the remnants coming out here. That's the seeds and all the stuff you don't want in there, but he's going to grind that again because it's still pretty thick with some meat.
Doing it this way, you don't have to boil down all that excess juice. We will go ahead and heat it up. So we want to have it hot when it goes in our jars. We're going to can these for about 40 minutes. So we're going to boil bath them. We're doing quarts. I think pints we do for like 35 minutes. Quarts we do for 40 minutes in a hot water bath. So you can see you do quite a bit, and it takes almost no time to do it. So we've got, I think we have a total of 80 pounds here, and we're going to be through the first 25 pounds, grinding them in no time. So I ladle it off, I just kind of move it around to get some of the excess juice that's kind of holding up on the sauce. You can see that's some good sauce, but if you just kind of scoot it around, it'll get all that juice down in the bottom and just leave you with the sauce. And depending on how thick you want it, you can just keep on working with it. We like our sauce a little bit, I don't know, on the thin side, but it doesn't have to be Heinz ketchup thickness. So I'm just gonna go ahead and ladle it into this bowl here. You can see that's just some really nice, pretty thick stuff. And we'll, like I said, we'll heat it up, but we're not going to do any boiling to thicken it up. This is the consistency we're going to have when we're done. So that's from that grinding there.
All right, so we're getting down to the last batch of tomatoes. Joe's got 2 buckets here full of the scraps that come through. When you use your Victorio, it actually pulls out all of the seeds and any kind of skin or hard spots that you don't want in your sauce. And so that's what you've got, your 2 bowls here full of that. And he is going to run those back through because if you look, there is quite a bit of meat still left in that. So he'll run it through with the longer red grinder, and that'll pull all that extra out to get the last of the sauce. So far he's got almost two full bowls here of sauce that we will ladle into the jars. That's the longer spigot that he's going to use to grind the rest of that.
Okay, so I'm done. That's all the grinding. I'll throw a little bit more here just to make sure we get it all out of there. Now, when you change this out, it's going to make a bit of a mess because if you look in here, we've got sauce all over that. It's really hot right now, so I don't want to rake it off with my fingers. I'll just take this off. I'll take this chute off here and put that in there. As much of this off as I can. Just dump that right here in the screw the hole down there. And yeah, there's the mess. It does have a bunch of seeds and stuff in there. Just pull over here so I can get it right in there. And we'll grab that other spiral and get back at it. I'm just gonna ladle these right in there just like they are.
Again, these are the second grindings. These have all been ground once, and now he's getting ready to grind them again.
And we'll just stop at 2. We could probably squeeze more out of them if we did it a couple more times. And this round won't take very long compared to boiling and everything like that. These are ready to go. So we'll just shove them through the grinder again.
See, as it's coming out, it's a little more dry looking than it was the first time. All right, Joe's finishing up here. You can see that 2 bowls ended up as 1. See a whole lot of seeds in there and peelings, not a lot of meat this time. Some pretty thick sauce there, so it won't take much to ladle that off. So mix that nice thick stuff in there with it, and probably got another quart there by re-grinding those.
We got about 2.
Maybe 2 quarts more.
Using that longer spiral, it is much harder to grind. It gives you a lot more resistance because it is grinding all the way to the end of that strainer. So it is a little more work when you do that. Looks like we got juice all the way up to here. Dump those in the big pot here. This is one of them we boiled down with. Beth washed it out and cleaned it up good. We'll get this dumped in there. Go ahead and set that on the stove to start getting heated up. We'll just put it on low. We'll put it on this one. Put it on low. And we're gonna get our boiling water bath pot ready. We'll put it next to it, and once it starts boiling or gets close to it, we'll go ahead and ladle this into the jars and do our boil bath. That way I can just push this one up there and we can use one next time instead of having to do a whole bunch of them. As you can see, it's been used a few times. Cheesecloth. And there's all the juice. So we'll ladle that into some jars, and we'll probably do an equal amount of juice as we do sauce. So if there's 10 sauces, we'll probably do 10 juices.
We'll let that settle and try to get it from the bottom, because then you'll get some of the thicker stuff.
Usually when we can this part of it, you'll come back the next day and there'll be about 2 inches of
Solid.
sauce on the bottom, and then the rest will just be juice. So we've got 12 jars of the good sauce, pure sauce, and we've got 9 more that are, as you can see, these last 2 or 3 over here don't have hardly any sauce in them at all. We ladled off the top, but those will be good. A lot of times we add water when we make our pastas, so instead of adding water, we use the tomato juice to give it a little more flavor. Over there you see the waste that was left over, a lot of the tomatoes we culled through. Those won't go to waste. We have chickens, so the chickens will eat all the product that is considered waste. When you're done canning, these jars have a lid. If they're not sealed, they'll pop like that. If they are sealed, they sound like that. And we did have one that didn't seal. So food safety is very important, and I woke up in the middle of the night last night and remembered that we had not put the lemon in. When you do tomatoes or anything, you want to get that pH low enough that botulism can't grow in there. Tomatoes naturally are like 5.3. Botulism can grow down to 4.6, so add a tablespoon of real lemon juice or citric acid to each jar to lower that pH where it's safe for storage. But I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm going to take this jar here and I'm going to just start dumping them in one at a time, one into the other, and we'll. So that was good and sealed. But I'll just put my lemon juice in and just start pouring one into the other. And I'll reboil bath these after I get the lemon juice in there. So there's another 2 hours. It's 40 minutes a load, and there's 3 loads here. But that's going to do it from the Hidden Haven Homestead. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time here on the farm.